Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development of Nigeria and the world. Now, if you're a Nigerian, you should be worried about the latest reports by Economic Intelligence Unit on the state of the Naira and the state of Nigerian economy. This is because while people are complaining about the Japa syndrome, about the best brain in the country living in search of greener pastures, and many people, especially professionals in the medical field, have literally deserted this country in search of greener pastures, and people want this thing to be reversed. But this report by the Economic Intelligence Unit will show that the reversal will still take a long time to come, because the projection for the Nigeria's economy and the state of the Naira is not looking good. In fact, the Economic Intelligence Unit in its latest report has really shown or reported that the Naira will weaken to 1,068 Naira, 1,068 Naira to the dollar in the next few years. And that this indication they are projecting will have a whole lot of implication for Nigeria. And I will talk about how it will affect us as a nation. Because this figure of 1,068 Naira to the dollar they are projecting by 2025 is the official rate they are projecting. So you now ask yourself, what will be the black market rate? Because they are now saying that the official window they are seeing will be up to 35%. So you go and do your mathematics. Find out how much Naira will be sold to the dollar in the black market by that time. And it might even happen quicker than you can imagine. So this is a troubling report by the Economist Intelligence Unit. That's what we're going to look at and see how it's going to worsen the Japa syndrome and worsen the welfare of Nigerians. Now, according to this report, Nigeria's official exchange rate is projected to weaken to 1,068.3 Naira to the dollar by 2025, according to a new report by the Economist Intelligence Unit. The report also indicates that the Central Bank of Nigeria lacks the firepower to clear the $6 billion forex backlog that Central Bank is owing foreign airlines and others. It also claimed that Central Bank of Nigeria also lacks the experience to conduct a foreign exchange float, leading to a negative outlook from the Naira. He said that the Nigerian Central Bank lack the capacity to float the Naira. They don't have the capacity. But that's what they are doing. They claim that they are floating the Naira. But Economist Intelligence Unit said they don't have the capacity to float it. Perhaps that's why the thing is a very disastrous, is having a disastrous outcome to the economy of Nigeria. In each new country report on Nigeria, the Economic Intelligence Unit noted that there will be continued currency losses due to the large size of the parallel market and the low foreign exchange reserve of the country. The report states, we have reversed our exchange rate. So this report was reversing what they said before about Nigerian economy. So we have reversed our exchange rate forecast to front load a larger devaluation in 2025 to reflect a widening gap between the official and parallel market exchange rates. We expect another attempt at exchange rate convergence that year, meaning a larger correction. We have adjusted our average rate forecast for that year to 1,068 naira 3 kobo to the dollar from 914 naira 4 kobo to the US dollar previously. As our forecast for continued losses, so what they are forecasting that naira will continue to lose. So don't buy into the claim that naira is going to get strengthened. It's a lie. That's what this report is saying. There are reports recently that by one of the aides of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one of his advisors, that the naira will strengthen to 600 naira to the dollar. This report is apparently saying, don't believe that. They are forecasting continued currency losses over time. You see, as our forecast for continued currency losses over time has not changed, the projected rate is also weaker for years later. For later years, a large devaluation will have limited pass-through given the size of the parallel market. But our forecast for an average inflation in 2025 has been reversed up by 2%, by 2% point from 15.1% to 17.1%. Now, we all know that Nigeria has been grappling with foreign exchange liquidity, which has made the country unable to clear off its forex backlog, further worsening the value of the Nigeria's currency. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently promised to settle the approximately $7 billion in unpaid $7 billion in unpaid foreign exchange commitments owing to banks through foreign currency forward contract. After recognizing the difficulties experienced by the business sector in the market, Tinubu promised more foreign exchange liquidity in his statement at the 29th Nigeria Economic Summit in Abuja. The CBN has begun to pay this backlog, but reports has shown that it was only 10% of what was owed foreign exchange backlog that was owed. Only about 10% had been paid so far, and there are no indications that they could be able to pay all. It was that payment that recently gave a boost to the naira, until the market found out that that payment was nothing to write home about in terms of the enormity of the obligation of Nigeria. It was just scratching the surface of the debt. So they are having difficulty from what this report says, because foreign airlines recently disclosed that about 90% of their 783 million trapped funds were yet to be paid. Now, highlighting on Nigeria's forex illiquidity, the Economist Intelligence Unit said, after brief consolidation in June, A wide 35% spread between the official and parallel market exchange rates has re-emerged, reflecting an ongoing reluctance by the Central Bank of Nigeria to allow free access to hard currency and resulting illiquidity in the Nigerian forex exchange market. The NFEM official window. Pressing harder on currency reform would therefore mean a hefty devaluation, crashing any pretense of petrol price deregulation, assuming that higher pump prices are a political red line and stretching a fragile fiscal position. The report by the Economic Intelligence Unit also stated that sizable devaluations are expected in 2025 or possibly sooner. So Nigerians should expect more devaluation of the naira by 2025. But they say possibly sooner. It can happen next year. We are just a few weeks to next year. It can happen next year from what this report is saying. It says sizable devaluations are expected in 2025 or possibly sooner, causing a 38.5% loss against the US dollar over the year to 1,142 naira 5 kobo to the US dollar by December ending. That's December ending of 2025. But this can happen before 2025. That's what they're saying. However, the report continued, we do not expect lasting commitment to a market-led naira, as the CBN lacks experience of conducting monetary policy under a float. High inflation and the continued spread with the parallel market will leave the exchange rate regime unstable and result in periodic devaluations. We project a rate of 1,262 naira 1 kobo to the US dollar at the end of December 2028, with a continuous spread with the parallel market expected. Now, these projections is a very gloomy one for the Nigerian economy, and experts have been saying it for years. And I remember vividly that Peter Obi of the Labour Party, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last presidential election, have said it, that the only way Nigeria can remedy the problem of the valuation of the naira is to increase productivity. Nigeria is virtually producing nothing. That has reflected in this report. And the report shows that Nigeria's naira will continue to lose value over the next 3-4 years. Now, we are living in a country where our medical services are crumbling. Our medical doctors are living for greener pastures. And there have been all kinds of efforts being suggested to halt this, including the latest one by Dr. Fayemi, former governor of Ekiti, that they should seize the certificates of doctors for 5 years when they graduate, so that they will work in Nigeria for 5 years before going abroad, because they paid next to nothing to be trained by Nigerian universities and all that. So that would be discriminating. What of those who didn't go to medical school, who are not in medical field? Are they not the same way trained like those who trained as lawyers, as accountants, as political scientists, as architects? So why should doctors' certificate, their license, be seized until after 5 years? That was what he suggested. And I know there are people in the National Assembly who are also suggesting that. But it's not only doctors that want to leave the country. If you look at the minimum wage in Nigeria, the minimum wage in Nigeria is 30,000 naira. Now that 30,000 naira is not even being implemented by all the states. Many states are not paying up to that. And the value of what is being paid has entrapped a lot of Nigerian workers that they are no different from even those who are not working in terms of poverty spread in the country. So people will now, that's why people are doing many people are doing so much to leave the country, selling their assets and what have you, just to live. Because the naira can virtually get you nothing. If you are a salary earner in Nigeria, your salary can virtually get you nothing, except if you are among those who are working in government. We are government appointee who are earning fantastic salaries and emoluments and estacos and all that. So with this kind of gloomy report, it will be difficult for now to reverse this Japa syndrome. It means it's going to continue, because the value of the money that a salary earner will get will continue to depreciate as the naira depreciates. And that has a lot of consequences on his welfare, on his taking care of his family, and his social standing in society. That's why those who had the opportunity will continue to leave the country in search of greener pastures. There is nothing anybody could say that will stop it. Nobody can stop it. And you can't stop it in a democracy by a military fiat, by seizing people's medical license and telling them that they have to serve Nigeria for 5 years. Because according to Dr. Fayemi, they were trained for virtually spending nothing. That to me doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The truth remains that it is the responsibility of our country leaders to make the naira stable. And how do you make it stable? By running a government that will prioritize productivity. Productivity in a country is not, like somebody said, it's not making skits, comedy skits on internet. That's not it. Productivity has to do with producing things that are exportable to bring in foreign currency, to bring in the dollars into Nigeria. Invest in agriculture, invest in the solid mineral sector, invest in technology, invest in manufacturing. These are the things that Peter Obi and others have been saying will take Nigeria out of the war. These are the things you will do when the economy began to do well, when the currency of Nigeria began to strengthen and all that. Because strengthening the naira also has its own disadvantage, because this weakening of the naira is supposed to be of benefit to manufacturers, but we didn't have manufacturers to benefit from it. If you look at China allowed its currency to be weakened because China is involved in a lot of productivity, flooding the whole world with its own products, so that the products of China will become cheaper at the international market. But the weakening of the naira in a country that is import dependent is what is worsening our economy. So with that said, and this report by the Economist Intelligence Unit, you can bet that nobody will will stop those who are able to leave the country from not jackpying. People will continue to jackpy until further notice. That is the truth. And the purchasing power of those at home will become much more lower. And you know what it means. Now, I talk about the fact that people who are working are paid less than 30,000 minimum wage. This I'm talking about in the public sector, because the private sector is even nothing to write home about in terms of adherence to the minimum wage. Now, when you have those working, their salary cannot take them home, or what they say, their take-home pay cannot even take them home. And for anybody who is working in Nigeria, the person has several dependents. And when he cannot take care or support all these dependents on this one person that is getting this salary, it is going to exacerbate poverty in Nigeria. And with that increase in poverty, there will be much more increase in crime and criminality, violence, kidnapping, killings, banditry, what have you. It means that the energy of the youths will not be channeled towards productive venture, because it will exacerbate unemployment problem, poverty problem, and what have you. And with more insecurity in Nigeria as it is today, it will worsen the life of Nigerians. Already, life living in Nigeria right now is one of the biggest challenges the country has ever faced. You can therefore imagine what will happen if this projection is not halted. And from all indication, this projection by Economist Intelligence Unit is not likely to be halted anytime soon. Because if you look at the policies and the conduct of the present government, it doesn't suggest that they are aware of what the country faces. You heard about the billions that was allocated to buy SUVs for the office of the presidency, the billions that was allocated to buy SUVs for the office of the first lady. You heard about the billions that were allocated for the National Assembly members and several other of that kind of expenditure that had nothing to add to the productivity of Nigeria, instead taking away the scarce dollar that is available in the country to service the lifestyle of those in power. So with that kind of atmosphere, with this kind of picture, it means that things are not going to change anytime soon, and the Jackpot syndrome will continue unabated for a very long time to come. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. And please, liking this video is also one of the ways you can support this channel and make it and help it to grow. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.